Max Prezel doesn't have to enter the Yakka competition because he backed Anthems yesterday. Very impressed, despite lumping 58.5k around yesterday. Did it with the apparent ease at Warwick Farm.
Yes, I'd say Anthems, David, was the most promising performance of the day in racing. I think Anthems is going to go to the top and en route to the top, I think will win the Castlemaine Classic at Eagle Farm next month.
OK, well, the main interest yesterday centred on the Doomben meeting and the Winter Carnival in Brisbane, and also at Morphettville with the running of the South Australian Oaks. And joining us from Adelaide on the eve of the Adelaide Cup is Keith Hillier. Keith, yesterday, Peter Hayes, 1, 2, 3. And an outstanding performance.
It was one for the record books, David. For the first time, the Group 1 South Australian Oaks, one train to produce the 3 place getters. A first at Group 1 Level 2 for Peter Hayes. And for the punters, the right one won, Miss Margaret.
Well, we might go to the action of that. What was your thoughts on this one, Max?
I think the winner appreciated the drop in class. I don't think this is the silk department of the fillies' form this year, but certainly she's a very handy horse. She's a consistent horse, and congratulations to her and her connections. A good win, but again, I'm not saying that she's going to test Salius in the spring.
I think that's fair comment. We knew she had the class. We wondered about her staying ability. Showed she could do it. Another item that came in threes yesterday, Sword. 3 starts in Adelaide, 3 wins. Sword won the Goodwood Handicap. It's raced by a partnership that includes Shelley Hancock's racing journalist, horse syndicator. She was at the Royal Hotel at Scone yesterday to watch this race. I suggest the drinkers at Scone today have another one on Shelley's account, because this is a pretty big win.
And a very much an interstate result, this one, Max.
Yes, but Sword shows, I think, confirms the strength of Sydney's sprint form, and Sword was going well in welters. I must admit, surprised me. I didn't think it was quite up to that class carrying that weight, but Sword proved me wrong. A good win. Congratulations, Shelley. And
Gay Waterhouse finally broke that Group 1 drought at Brisbane yesterday.
Yes, and Juggler is a top racehorse. Again, I've got to take my hat off to Gay. She said, regardless of the tempo, Juggler will beat Doremus. I think it was Darren Beedman actually beating Doremus.
Yeah, superb ride, Keith, from Beedman again on Juggler.
He's a very good horse. He's getting better. Doremus seemed to give Juggler just too much start, but as you look at the finish, Juggler's holding him, to my mind.
But had to work much harder, Keith. That was the key to it. Beedman was able to give Juggler a cuddle. Di had to get ferocious with Doremus as far as 800, 900 metres out, and he just could not sustain the momentum required.
Keith, does it surprise you that Gay won't be setting it now for the $1 million Stradbroke? Apparently it's a spell for Juggler.
Well, I think she's probably got so much riches ahead of her in the spring that she may have made the right decision there. Doomben's had terrible luck with its tracks, and it probably affected the sprint result yesterday as well.
Well, Max, we were anticipating a Friedman Quinella in the big one there yesterday with Flying Spur and Gold Ace, but Teos spoilt the party for Lee Friedman.
Whatever you do, never have your last on Flying Spur. I doubt his integrity. On his day, he's very, very good, but by gee, he can put in a bad one, and that's what he's doing here. But I do like the way that Gold Ace got to the line. By gee, I think he's a good racehorse. Now, Teos is another a sprinter going from Sydney, where he only performed reasonably, but I would say, and agree with Keith, it was the track here more than ability. He had a nice pull in the weights, but the run of the race, definitely Gold Ace.
Thoughts, Keith?
Yeah, strangely, Teos has not really handled the wet down here, so he obviously handles the Queensland wet. It's a day of the year for the South Australian Jockey Club in Adelaide. Tomorrow it's Adelaide Cup Day, a public holiday. I've tipped a 3-state trifecta. I think the South Australian 3-year-old Hurricane Sky can beat the Victorian stayer Gateway and Linesman from Sydney third. Max?
Well, I see 2 out of your 3, Keith. I just don't know about Hurricane Storm getting the 3,200 metres, but I do like the prospects of Gakwa, and I do think that Linesman is the best that we've got to offer.
Well, now you've put a knock on my tip. I'm even more confident. Hurricane Sky straight out now, not each way.
Enjoy the day tomorrow in Adelaide, Keith. Thanks for joining us on Sportsworld this morning.
David, thanks.
OK, and the ones to watch out for, Max, and your thoughts? You've just nominated Linesman.
Yes, well, I do think that the horses like Gold Ace was a top run yesterday, Anthems, and I'm not burying Doremus on that run. I think Doremus is still a horse to follow.
OK, so what are your thoughts on the Adelaide Cup tomorrow?
I'll go Gakwa Linesman. I do think that Linesman is an ideal Adelaide Cup horse. I just wonder whether he can give the weight to the Melbourne stayer.
Just going back now to the performance of Juggler, what a great investment. $38,000 they paid for it, and it's now earned over $1 million in prize money.
Yeah, there are a few of those around, but then there's a few that cost $400,000 or $500,000 and aren't worth a crumpet, aren't there, Keith?
Absolutely, Max, we back them every week.
OK, well, at least Max is smiling this morning because, Keith, he did have a bit of luck yesterday, and for a change, it's nice to see him come here smiling on a Sunday morning. Max, thank you.
Yes, well, who's going to win the State of Origin, David?
Well, you put me on the spot here. You disagreed with me yesterday. I can sit on the fence working in Sydney, living in Queensland. My heart would tell me Queensland, but I've got a feeling that New South Wales are going to upset their party at Suncorp tomorrow night. You don't agree with that?
You are a terrible judge. I've had the 6-4 Queensland, and I'm only sorry I haven't had more on.
Well, I'll have 20 with you. I'll settle here next week.
No. I want to see the colour of your money. You won't have any now. Just, but you're like Keith. Keith only bets in shilling. You see, he likes to have a shilling on. That's because he's got the first one he ever owned.
Oh, I tell you what, he's a cutting man, is our Max President. We'll take a break, have them both back on the program again next weekend. You're watching Sportsworld here on 7.